discipline. So if you're able to like really grind down and find out like, hey, I could make this into something if I treat it like a 9 to 5 career, then you could really like grow something out of it. And then the rest, you just build systems out of the other businesses.
You're listening to the AZEIA Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from AZEIA, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Welcome to another episode of the AZEIA Show. I'm your host, Marcus Maloney, and we're excited today because we have our co-host here, our executive director, Mike Del Prete.
Good morning.
And today we want to talk to the ladies, gentlemen, kids, everyone out there. We want to talk to those of you who are entrepreneurs in the real estate industry that really want to take things a lot further. We have Gabriela Avila with us today. She goes by Gabby. And we're going to talk about how she got started in real estate, how she built a portfolio of over 50 rentals, opened up a coffee shop here in Phoenix, have done quite a bit locally. So, Gabby, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
So, kind of introduce us to Gabby. Why did you get into real estate? What did you do prior to real estate? Let's start there.
So, prior to real estate, I was actually a college student. I was pursuing a pre-med career, so I wanted to be a doctor. And at the time, like being a college student, I didn't have any money. And I didn't come from money. I didn't have parents that could put me through college or anything. So it was always me paying for everything myself. So I thought, what is a way that I could get into school, stay in school and then be able to make money? So I thought real estate. And I thought real estate was going to be easy. And it wasn't, of course. So it wasn't until the summers that I actually got the time to start practicing real estate and then starting to get a feel for it. And, my first actual transaction was a family friend that just wanted to give me a shot. So I helped them out. And then I kind of saw like, hey,
so when you say a shot, like help them, like agent work, wholesaling, flipping. Okay.
Agent work.
Okay. Got it.
So I was very, very new. Like I didn't know anything about real estate.
Okay.
So I helped them out. And then I had graduated that same year. And I decided, hey, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to focus at least 1 year in real estate. If I could do good, I'm going to go this way. Because, I kind of liked the amount of money I would make on a commission.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got my sister to join me that year to get into real estate. And from there, I kind of just like fell in love with it and I took off from there.
Okay. And what year was this?
This was in 2016.
2016. Okay.
So you started as a real estate agent. So that's obviously in our world, as you know, do I invest or do I become an agent? It's obviously the big question. Let's just hear your answer. What are your thoughts about should they get their license?
Well, to me, I kind of use like the traditional real estate, like a vehicle. I quickly knew like the next year that we wanted to start investing because we had so many investor clients and we would actually help them market their properties so much, like fix and flip investors. And so we quickly decided like we want to become these investors. Like we want to do that.
Got it.
We didn't, like I said, we didn't come from money. So like the only way to actually get money was to like
Go through.
Go get it.
Yeah.
So what do you think you learned being an agent that helped you as an investor?
I think it helped me structure an actual business. I think if you could take real estate seriously and take it as a business rather than just, because I feel like a lot of people don't take it as a business and they're just kind of like, oh, I have so much freedom. So with that freedom comes discipline. So if you're able to like really grind down and find out like, hey, I could make this into something if I treat it like a 9 to 5 career, then you could really like grow something out of it. And then the rest, you just build systems out of the other businesses.
Okay. So what did that first opportunity or that first deal look like?
A first
Flip?
opportunity.
Are we talking flip?
Yeah, either one. I mean, the first.
Oh, the first.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not commission transaction, but
Okay.
investor transaction.
So the first investment transaction was like a year later. We jumped into investing in real estate because we saw HGTV and we thought it was easy. And we decided to just go for it. We didn't have any mentorship. We didn't know what we were doing, but we thought we knew what we were doing. And we jumped into the ugliest house in the neighborhood that had multiple offers and multiple investors. We're like, hey, we must be doing something right if everybody wants it. And we weren't. We bought like pretty much the crack house of the block. And from there, we didn't know how much money it was going to take to actually make it into something.
Work.
We partnered up with a contractor to help us with it. And it was a total flop.
Really?
So there was multiple offers and you won the
Yeah.
multiple. So that right there, you start to go, looking back,
Yeah.
you're like, I just paid the most for that.
That's most, right?
The house. Yeah. So we did overpay for the house. On top of that, once we actually like got into the house, we were like, what did we do? Like, this is bad. And then we started, removing all these kind of walls, reconfiguring layouts, and then over designing the house. And like to the point that like we overspent so much on this house, it kind of looked like a new build. And in doing that, it was like, rather than, we didn't even take in calculations like how much are we going to take to finish this project. So it took forever to finish. And once we finished the project, the comps weren't even there. Like we over-designed the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you over design for the neighborhood? Like for sure, right?
For sure,
And got it. So
And for the market.
got it. Okay. So what are some wisdom, some learning lessons that you would share looking back at that?
From that, luckily we lucked out because the contractor fell in love with the house because it
Okay.
was so pretty. So he ended up buying it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So he actually saved us in a way. We only lost like a little bit of money rather than if we would have not, then we would have lost tons. But what I learned is that
So did he help you guys over design the house?
he
With
helped-
like, no, I'm just wow.
I-
Just joking.
yeah. But yes, it did play out like that. But no, I think what I learned was that, if you don't know something, like ask for help and don't be afraid to jump into mentorships, or like different groups, because I think that would have helped us so much. I didn't have AZEIA like groups like this back then. So imagine if I did, like I wouldn't probably repeat those kind of mistakes.
Okay.
Yeah, relationships are huge. This business is all about relationships.
Yeah.
And people that, second pair of eyes on the comms, on the bids. It's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you guys bounce back from that, right? Because, normally most people, I don't think this works for me.
Right.
We got away with it, because of the contractor savers. How did you have the inertia to go to the next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, it was very stressful. And we just kind of brainstormed. We're like, okay, we know exactly what not to do now. So like, if we want to keep doing this is what we need to avoid. And we just regrouped and we went for the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. The kind of the traits that you're explaining here, right? You did what they call it, fire, aim, ready. You guys just jumped right in. But sometimes that's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
You learned your lessons, you licked your wounds, you got up and you kept going. Like that's why you're still here today.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost 8 years later.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Which is crazy because I feel like we have that mentality where in a way we just don't think about it. We just do it, kind of like cranky.
Yeah.
And if you think about it too much, there's so many, once you start thinking about things a lot, you're like, your thought process is going to talk you out of it.
Right.
So it's just like being able to just be like, okay, this is what I want. Now just do it.
And that's like the biggest thing you see when people are in this business that aren't really making things happen is analysis paralysis. So you're doing the complete opposite.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to be said there.
Which is funny because even at like to this day, I tell Janet, like I still get like butterflies and I still get kind of scared whenever we purchase another property. Like it never goes away.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Never. We still, all those little on your shoulder. Am I doing the right thing? Yeah. There's a lot there. So what's your process of finding a good deal today?
I guess right now Jen and I have come up with our own calculator.
Okay.
So it's our little spreadsheet that we come up with and we underwrite our deals right then and there. So we kind of have like an idea of what we're going to spend on a deal.
Okay.
In terms of rehab, we already have our allocated timeframes per deal and we're able to just underwrite them really quick. And if they fit our returns that we're looking for, then it's a deal for us.
So in order to lock up deal, it's speed.
Yes.
Got
It's
it.
really speed.
And, I know like when we do our fix and flip trainings, it's always a big question. Like, how do I estimate repairs? Right. Like when we walk through it, we're like 10, 5, 4, do, it didn't happen overnight. Right. How can we break that down this one? Because you have your calculator and you got to put something in there.
Yes.
So how do you know what to put in there when you're just walking that property by yourself?
I kind of have like a checklist, like a mental checklist that I've already made in my head for years.
Yeah.
I walk in there, first thing I look at the big ticket items, like let's look at
What are those? Yes.
the windows, the electrical panels, if there's a pool, all the big ticket items. And those are already kind of like pre-calculated, like how big is a house? That's also going to affect how much you're going to pay in flooring. So it's like when it comes to like the actual trade, you kind of just start learning as you go. And when it comes to material, that's when we're like, okay, this is how much I'm going to allocate. Because depending on the price range, if like I'm going to go all out with material, or I'm just going to have to use like whatever I could find that's the best.
Cool.
So it just takes a lot of time and training, even now, because like, what I've paid in labor today is way different than what I paid before COVID.
Yeah.
And it's still going up.
So you're always
like adjusting.
You're always in tune. Well, you got to, if you're in the game, doing deals, you'll feel it.
Yep.
Gradually, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You'll see it.
Even my electrical bid, sometimes I'm like, I'm wrong because they're going up.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. It's like, well, okay.
It's true. So true.
Man, so what else are you seeing? Like, that's a good point. Like pre-COVID, post-COVID, right? Or even pre-last year, post this year. What I mean? Yeah. Like, what other changes have been drastic in this business for you?
I guess material costs.
Materials. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, material costs is rising like crazy. Like I don't know, we've stepped into 400 core lately, but even if you're looking for like a simple backsplash, like those prices are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't use 404, but like sometimes we do.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference.
And do you have like a GC that does labor and materials and just cuts you a price, or are you guys like GCing, project managing and piecing the project together?
So we have a project manager, our GC. He pretty much manages the entire trades, and he bids out everybody for us, and he gives us the best prices that he fit. And I take care of material in terms of actual design, like tile and all these kind of stuff. Just because our touches, like if we design every single house, and so we cannot put a price on that. Like we can't get quoted based off what materials we want to use.
Right.
And who does the design? Your sister?
Me and Janet, actually.
You guys do it together?
Yeah, we do it together.
And where do you guys get like your inspiration? What do you guys like to do?
Well, we travel a lot, and we try to travel a lot, and we try to get it from there. And then I guess a lot of it just comes from the imagination.
Okay.
Yeah.
And nothing from like what the neighbors are doing, what other flippers are doing. Do you ever
No.
Just what you guys like to do?
Yeah.
Wow.
And we love doing it. Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Good. What about, because I know you guys have the Venos, so you did the fix and flip, everything like that. And why did you make that decision to get into landlording?
So I actually kind of thought when I first started that it was kind of like impossible, but not impossible. I just didn't see it in my future. But it wasn't until 2020 hit, March 2020, we had all these kind of projects out and the market wasn't moving. So we were like, okay, I have a lot of hard money loans out right now. I need to find a way to get out of them. And so one by one, this is something that I didn't learn because, just how I grew up, is how to like any of the finances, right? I didn't know that you had to be financeable or to buy a house, right? And as a real estate agent and investor, you kind of write off as much as you can because that's part of investing. Yeah. And so we were financeable. So I had all these hard money loans. I had to get with a really, really good lender who was able to get me qualified within a year. So it was 12 months of pain.
Oh.
And I was able to keep like our first property. And then after that, it kind of just like, wow, like I actually own this. Like
it's cool feeling.
Yeah, like it's different than when you have, a bunch of fix and flips. It's different because they're yours, they're not yours. But when I first got like my first rental, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then it just tumbled from there.
Okay.
And then that year we just bought like so many of them.
That's one of the big things that a lot of investors overlook, especially getting started, is making sure you're bankable, right? Because
Absolutely.
everybody is like, I want to quit my 9 to 5. I just want to jump right in and go full-fledged. But they just don't understand that you need to be bankable.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's good to have that W-2, because a lot of lenders are going to look at that as that hedge against anything that happens, and a lot of people just go in and they forget that piece of being bankable. It's very, very important. Right. You can get all of these hard money loans and everything like that, but when you're trying to refinance into something more stable or more traditional, you can't. So guys, always remember that being bankable is important.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I feel like you went through a tough time, a scary time, I bet.
Absolutely.
Not and just COVID in itself was scary.
Yeah.
Right. And now you had all these properties, but it's like kind of like something you don't read in a book or a podcast, right? It's
Definitely.
right? Like, how do I get through this? People would throw in the towel, or they're scared to get started because of something like that. But you got through. I feel like it always works out
I think
somehow.
for 2020, like no one really saw me. I was just working my butt off just to make sure that I could like pay these mortgages, not be in bad standing with my lenders, my hard money lender, and being able to like keep all the houses, So, and then after that, I started learning about cash flow, and I was like, okay, I have this mortgage, it's really low, put the tenants in there, and now like the rentals are like very,
That's
very
true.
profitable.
You got a blessing with the low interest rates.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I
Do you
did.
still have those, or do you choose to
No,
sell
I
some?
still do.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I saw we only sold one of the multifamily. It was just a trouble property.
Yeah.
But the rest, they all did great.
Wow. And you got locked in, low interest rate, cash flowing, when deals are hard to pencil right now on
Absolutely.
rentals, and you got them.
Yeah.
Got to take action. Shoot.
And in the end, like even with the high interest rates, like we don't shy away from buying rental properties. We have some that don't cash flow, but they're equity gains for us. So it's like long term.
Which is a good play. Like we always promote, you got to have cash flow, right?
Yeah.
But as you grow, like yourself, your experience, you guys got rentals, you're doing a lot of flips, you guys are agents, you got 50 businesses, which we should still go over. So that can work into the bigger picture.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have a few properties that don't cash flow, like the
Of
equity.
course.
Yeah.
But the cash flow in the end, like if you have enough properties that cash flow, that covers the other one.
She ends it as, and once again, a depreciating asset, and she don't get the write off, So
you just want to make sure
still do that. Yeah.
newer people listening aren't just like, all right, I'll buy a couple that don't cash flow.
Don't play the appreciation.
It's a different story. So we actually met at Novel back in the day, where we all worked in the co-working space on
That is
Central and Thomas, and you guys had the coffee shop down there. So what are some other things you guys do? You still have that, right?
So we ended up closing that coffee shop, and we opened up across the street at the Bank of America building.
Okay.
It was just a bigger location. We designed the place, and it had like an actual location. The one at that building felt more like a hallway. It was like
It was,
a little awkward. But yeah, we still have the coffee shop.
Still have the what's the name again?
Thompson Cafe.
Thompson Cafe, and it's on Central and Thomas. All right. Do you do like events there or anything?
We could. I mean, we have this spot. You can.
That's what you guys need to be doing. Some real estate. We're doing real estate coffee meetings around here all the time. We should probably just go do it at yours.
You should.
What the heck? Why are we? All right. We'll talk about it. All right.
Yep.
It's really cute too.
So what's next for you and your sister, Gabby?
Well, right now we're currently still fix and flipping. We have 2 projects on the market. We have a multifamily that we're currently just finished renovating, and now we're going to refinance on that one. And then 2 more projects that we're going to close Friday. And then I guess the goals for this year is to probably start developing. We really want to get into developing. And so I think getting our feel for it this year should be towards like the end of the year, hopefully.
Okay. So I got some. I'll show you something after this show. Are you like building houses, just like infills, or are you guys thinking like 10 houses at a time, or what's kind of the thought, or apartments?
Custom.
Oh, okay.
Like custom
Okay.
homes.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to jump back into fix and flipping because it's very important. We talked a little bit about renovation, a little bit about, let's talk about finding the deal again. Like, what are some key things someone is hunting for a deal right now? What are some characteristics, or, I know obviously being quick with your calculator type stuff, just how to get in front of a good deal or an opportunity?
I guess once you get a good deal, we get ours from everywhere pretty much. Sometimes direct sellers, sometimes MLS, but one of the biggest sources we have right now are actual wholesalers.
Wholesale, okay.
We get really good deals from wholesalers too. It's just being able to, I guess the best thing you could do is buy something that is sellable. You know, a lot of people like to buy things and then add value, which is great if you're able to do that. But if you're someone who doesn't know how to add value in terms of like adding a new restroom or doing an addition by square footage, you know, buy things that people want, like at least 2 bathrooms,
Yeah.
at least with a garage
Yeah.
if possible, depending on the area, because not all the areas have garages. And, you know, just
Not on the main road.
not on the main
You
road.
know,
Yeah.
you don't want to back out into Bethany home.
Yeah,
No.
those make it extremely hard to sell.
Yeah.
So, you know, just creating your little buy box, it's like, okay, what exactly are you looking for? You know?
Okay.
And being able to move fast. So if somebody sends you a good deal, be able to underwrite it fast and be able to go see it fast. Rather than, okay, I'll think about it. Let's go see it on Friday when it's Monday or something. Because it's not like your regular market. It's all speed.
Yeah. And do you find working with wholesalers, are you usually giving them their ask?
No. Sometimes most of the times we negotiate. However, it also depends on the relationship you have with the wholesaler.
Okay.
If you're a repeat buyer, then you could negotiate, but sometimes, you know, like, hey, you're the first person to see the deal. You know, you get first dibs on it. This is a price. And if the numbers make sense to you, then, you know, they make sense. In the end, like, we don't count others' pennies. You know, we're all in it for everybody to win. So if they're doing me the favor of finding a good deal where we're going to make money, then we all make money.
Yeah, and I wanted to just make that question because a lot of people just say, I see wholesaler deals in my email, they all suck. Like, no, man, you know, you guys still got to write the offer. You still got to call the wholesaler and just see what's going on, right?
I mean, we get deals sometimes directly from our wholesalers through email. We're just like, hey, like, I want to see this one.
Yeah.
So it's like taking the time to actually like look through what is said. There's little gems that I get sent to you.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I got more questions, Mark. Do you have a question?
Oh.
All right. My next one is let's talk about the money, right?
Okay.
So, right, obviously, are you guys raising private capital? You guys using hard money? What are some of the ways you're financing these deals and the down payments and the renovations and all that?
So we use hard money for all of our, just to buy the properties. All of our renovations, we fund ourselves. And then we're not really raising capital, but we do have private lenders too. So if we want to do multiple projects, we're able to do like special loans with them and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're leveraging the acquisition with hard money lenders and then starting off with your own money for the renovations, down payments. But as you're scaling, you're doing multiple projects, you're bringing in maybe some private people.
Yes.
Got it. Smart. Yeah, I think you got to have access to money, know how to raise money and good hard money lenders to get more deals done.
Yeah. And I think if you're like an ethical person and, you know,
Which you should be.
Which you should be, you know, in real estate,
Yes,
a lot of people. It should be really easy to raise money. I think raising money and finding money, the money's everywhere. So it's just like being able to, that's the least of the problems that we really have.
You have a good deal and good character.
And if it's a good deal, like lenders will definitely lend with you.
Yeah, and here at AZEIA, we have like preferred business associates. So we have Hilton, we got Merchants Funding, we got Boomerang and Capital Fund One. I'm sure you probably use some of them.
Yeah, Boomerang, Capital Fund.
Yeah, awesome. So they're all great. So, all right, we've talked a little bit about the money. What's next?
Are you seeing it right now in this market a little bit more challenging disposing of properties once you get them completely down, sitting on the market?
Absolutely. So it just depends. December, January, and February, all our properties pretty much went they flew off the market.
Is that with or without concessions?
That's without concession.
Okay.
Wow, good
Yeah. Actually, the last one that we had, we pushed our numbers, which you don't really do in this market. We felt that we had a really, really great product, and it actually got multiple offers and, you know, cash offer, no concessions, and sold really, really quick.
Excellent.
So that was one of my favorite properties.
Yeah.
These properties that we have right now, they're sitting a little longer, but we look at the comparables and we know the average days on the market it takes to sell in certain neighborhoods. So we keep that in mind before we purchase a property.
Okay.
So we're not panicking like, I need to sell it. I need to sell it. Like, no, there's
Mhm.
time to sell it.
Good point. Because, yeah, if you came in the business the last 3-5 years, it's like everything was fast.
Yeah.
But if you're pre-COVID, you knew properties will sit 30, 60 days. Just let them sit. Eventually they'll sell, right?
Absolutely.
So what are some key things that make your property sell fast now?
We don't jeopardize our quality of work. We don't cheap out on that. And we design our properties, and the way that we market them is that we make sure that, they're good products in the market. So they're always staged professionally and that they're marketed professionally as well.
Got it.
Okay.
Love it. All right.
That's good. So you guys are staging every
Mhm.
property?
Every
Yeah.
property.
Staging is important.
Yeah.
So do you guys do like lower end houses?
We do.
So you do anything? Well, not anything.
If the,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
the numbers make sense.
So you
Yeah.
go affordable to
Yeah.
luxury.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. What are you buying? So if there's new investors, wholesalers, agents listening right now, what do they send you?
Where?
What should they send you, and how do they get a hold of you?
Yes, they could. We buy in Maricopa County, and so they can always email it to me. I think that's like the best way because my phone's always getting bombarded.
Mhm.
But the best way to do it is through email. We buy anywhere in Maricopa County. We don't buy in South Phoenix. And then that's pretty much it.
What if it's on the mountain?
If it's from the mountain, yeah.
And there's that little gap you got to talk about, right?
That's true.
Awatuki's not bad.
Awatuki's not bad.
Yeah,
It's
Awatuki's
not.
nice too.
Yeah.
They have some good views down there.
Yeah. We do like Maryville. If we do like Maryville, we want it to be at least minimum 4 bedrooms, 2 bath.
You know, it's funny. I was at a couple conversations last week. It's like, I was like, when they love South Phoenix, but won't do Maryville.
Oh, I love Maryville.
Then you got people that love Maryville, won't do South Phoenix. It's like, it's pretty. So everyone has their own thing.
Yes, and my best rentals are in Maryville, so
Oh, there you go.
that's,
I'm sure
that's
they'll-
also why I would buy in Maryville.
Cool. So yeah, so if you were at our Fix and Flip February meeting, you saw Gabby and her sister Janet on the Fix and Flip panel. So you can go back on YouTube and probably watch the replay of that. They shared a lot of wisdom with us. And it's about being in a community and meeting people, coming to these events, meeting people like Gabby. You never know who you're sitting next to or who you're going to meet, right? That's You can buy your next deal or whatever it may be. I thought it was pretty cool. We all bumped into each other at that property. It was like a Saturday, right? Like you just meet, anyways, it's relationships, right? It's like, I didn't know any flippers went and saw that property.
I know.
We were probably there talking for like 2 hours. I know you guys are probably in and out. I was there before you guys and after you guys. I met so many people at this property. Yeah.
And you've actually sold me one of my favorite houses.
Oh my God.
My favorite flips. It smelled so bad. Probably the worst.
It was
smelling
death.
house.
That's what it
Oh,
was.
that was that.
The mission.
House.
Like, no, like, I never knew like your guys' work. Dom was more familiar with you guys and your work. I think you guys done stuff. But we had this, it was a solid house.
It was a beautiful house.
And I gave you guys credit because I was like, should have raised that wholesale fee. but because it was on Dunlap. You guys were north of Dunlap, but all the comps were south of Dunlap.
It was
So
a good pocket.
It was a nice little cul-de-sac pocket. It was like all older homes that weren't being like renovated yet. You guys were probably the first one.
Yes.
And you guys backed the canal, which was still fine. It was a good canal.
And you could hear the shelter from there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're not too far.
Yeah.
Oh, what you guys did to that house after I saw the price, one, I was like, you guys are way above my comp. How do you see that? Like, right, we're just traditional people just
Right.
comping houses, and you're like, okay, I could probably wholesale it at this. But then someone like yourself just guys probably went over like 60 to 100K than the average comp, if I
We
remember
did, yeah,
correctly.
it was about 100,000 above the average.
Yes.
And
You should be the big
I think for that one, that one was hard because it's more about strategy for that one. So that I wouldn't recommend for a new investor because we're looking at the comps. We're not in the most desirable area. However, if you cross the street, that's where all the solid comps are. But crossing the big street, you don't really do when it comes to appraisals, right? So, and then the buyers also know like, oh, but you're crossing the street. And buyers will tell you this all the time.
Yeah.
And so we decided like, hey, if we knock out the design on this house, we're not going to have a problem selling it based off our little pocket neighborhood that we have. So we did just that. And we're just like, we're going to like make sure that this house is beautiful. And if it's not, we're going to end up keeping the house, and it's going to be something that we love either way.
Awesome.
So it's like, let's do it. And the first person that walked through that open house bought the house.
In the story you told, like You just never know how things are, because the kitchen was beautiful.
It was.
And then what was the story behind that? I think if I remember the story, house.
So yeah, so that one, it smelled so bad
Uh-huh.
because I think the owner had passed away,
Mhm.
master bedroom,
Mhm.
and there was this huge blood stain on the floor.
I got the picture still.
Penetrated through the rug to
No,
the concrete.
He decomposed. I know it's
He
crazy
decomposed.
podcast talk, but it's real stuff.
He had been
Yeah.
there for 6 months
Mhm.
decaying.
The neighbors
Yeah.
smelt the house.
Yeah.
That's how they found out he passed away.
And then
Unfortunately.
the neighbors found out because one day there was like a really bad storm and somehow the door opened
That's how they.
and that's how they found the body.
Well, just to kind of go show you guys let's just piece the deal together really quick. So I had an AZEIA member who took our whole deal Finders Club, all this stuff. He went to the step by step, and he just randomly called me months later, and it was just like, "Hey, I did what you said. I told all my neighbors and friends that I buy houses." And he's like, "I was in the canal jogging, and the neighbor was crossing paths with me. He says, 'Hey, that house right there is vacant.'"
Oh,
And that's how it all happens,
Yeah.
right? Like that. So then we were like, "Oh, let's go buy it,"
Yeah.
and that. Anyways, and that's how it kind of we followed her
and you
whole
know
story.
what's crazy was that there was no comps whatsoever because none of those neighbors, they were all original neighbors from like
Wow.
the 60s.
Oh wow,
I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
that's
so
true.
it was just like
So
nobody
you
wanted
guys
to
set the
sell.
market over there.
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they tried to negotiate me.
Yeah.
You gotta ask, Brian. No, that was great. Awesome. All right, cool. As we wrap up, Marcus, any last questions? Or
No, I think we covered quite a bit. Covered it all. I did ask you what was next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
we got that. All right. Well, how do we get a hold of you?
I guess you can get a hold of me through Instagram. It's like the best
Mhm.
way that you could. My Instagram is, I should really change my name.
They do it. It doesn't matter.
It's GABBBAY_. Gabby.
You said 3 B's in there.
Yeah.
All right,
Gabby.
we'll make sure to put it in the notes as well. So
All right. Well, thank you so much, Gabby, for being with
course.
us on today. Guys, make sure you follow Gabby on Instagram and reach out to her if you have any questions about anything or if you got any deals. So, Gabby, thank you so much.
Of course.
for
Thank you
being
for
here.
having me again.
awesome. Thank you. Cool. Easy peasy.
Thanks for listening to the AZEIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Del Prete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to AZEIA.org and learn more about our community.